Good morning. We are going to be learning the Rambam. Very interesting halacha in Rambam. The halacha really would seem to be discussed at length previously in Hilchos Perek and the Haramim. For some reason, Rambam feels it necessary to repeat it here in some form. And not only does it seem to repeat it, it's a very short, but he does repeat the halacha. And the question, obviously, what we're going to deal with is why he repeats it. What was necessary? What was the necessity for that? Okay, that's one of the questions. The Ramabam Hilchos Malveh Perek Hilchos Halacha Zayin writes, if one consecrates his property, magdish nechosam, ein bal choiv yochel liter f'nahesh. Usually the rule is as follows. If and we've been learning about it, if somebody takes a loan and it's with a star, they really, that's technical halachas according to some, but we're not going to get into all that. And he obligates his properties. He's obligating his properties as a collateral for the loan, obviously. That's why in loans generally there's somebody who has to be valued to. It's like an orev. The properties become the orev. They are the collateral guarantors. So what happens is if somebody goes after borrowing and then he sells the property to somebody else, so the lender, when time comes for the borrower to pay and the borrower doesn't have money, the lender goes over to the guy with the property and takes it away from him. He has a lien on the property. And here you have a case where he went and he made a hegdish, so the lien on the property, hegdish should give it back to him. The answer is no. And here the Rambam writes a very interesting expression, which comes from the Gemara. Shah hegdish mafkiya hashibut. Hegdish undoes or takes away the lien. Now, however, paid not karkim yad hegdish. A guy comes to redeem the kark, the then we evaluate. How much are you going to give for a field? And the purpose of your redemption, because you're going to end up giving it to this woman for her ksuba and this man for his chayv. Obviously, you're not going to give that much unless you really, really care about them. But whatever it is, you're going to give. And whatever that is, that's what you redeem it for. The guy redeems it. It's called the lekeach. And then the balchayv comes and takes it away from him. Now in Erchen, it's much clearer. For some reason, these words are a little confusing. Who is the one that's... Because he redeemed it with the intent of giving it to Mlechaya. Okay. In Hilchos Erchin, Perek Zayin Halacha Yudalid, he writes that the same thing. Magdish kol nechasav, shtar balchayves, and he's yechelig basar nehegdish, balchayves chayiv hegdish. He's so long-winded there, which is so... Here he's so concise, and he said it to the point. There he's very detailed. Anyway, shehegdish mafkiya shibut sheh kodam, takes away the shibut that was there before. Avol kishayim kayeg zakak shalev teitzas al lechulin yesh balchayv liishal ligvus v'napeida. Sharei shavida imid al karka shibud imid al karka. The shibud is on this karka. So the Ravid says, I don't think that's what Hegdish is not mafkia any shibud, because you're redeeming it with peanuts. there's a karka worth $100,000. You're bringing it for 10 cents, for a nickel, for a dime, for a koldu. And the reason, as he'll bring a Gemara, which we're going to talk about soon. So he says that he goes into Kedusha. We're not getting into all that. Now, here's a very strange Rambam. Rambam really goes out to bat to explain what he's saying. And it needs a beer why he does this. Why is this compared to? Shnei lekuchas. Two people are going to buy this crop. The first one, the woman, the Ksuvas Isha woman, she has a relationship with this guy in a way. I don't deal with you. It's your, I won't take from you. Wrote him a star. I wrote it clearly. I ain't coming after you. Now this guy went and sold it to a second guy. She can go after the second guy. So this is exactly the story. Here, there's nobody saying Din Advar Mein Lima. And what's going on over there? Then the Ravid asks a question. I'm not so sure about the Rambam's conclusion that she can go after the second one. Because we have a rule, Ma Mocha Rishon L'Sheni. Kos Chushat Havel Yoder. And then he goes into another issue which will stay away from due to the complexity of the issue and the timing of how much it would take to get into it. And then he goes through the story. Okay, it's not right in Kakazem. And we announce for 60 days. And then we evaluate how much a person will give for this field in order to give it to the woman and to the Malveh. And then, after he deems it, and the Lekeach takes it, and he buys it even with a dinner, feel a bit dinner, not pruta, dinner. So he seems to say also that the only reason is because we don't want Hegdish going out for free. He goes and gives it to the Malveh. Okay. And the Ravid argues on him. Now, there's no question the Rambam is difficult. Because you read the Gemara sounds like the Ravid. The Gemara in Erechim, in Perek Vav, it's a Mishnah, a Magdish Nechosov, Isaac Subasish Vachev, Elapeda Pei, Damanas, Lit and Leish. Okay? In the Gemara, Daf Gimel in Erechim, where I asked, what does he have to say? Mishum the Rabavo, the Rabavo, Shlayemru Hegdish Yitzab Lepidkin. The reason they give any money is because that's what it sounds like. In other words, really, it's just there's a shibud. Hegdish has to give it up. Hegdish should not have a right to this. That's what it sounds, and I'm telling you what the Ravid is really saying. However, it looks bad that Hegdish, something that was made Hegdish, and people assume it's Hegdish, suddenly walks out to somebody else can take it for free. We made a compromise, like sort of, we made a rule, give a little money, let it look like a pigeon. And that's what Rashi explains. Okay. And then, so basically we know the halacha, we know the problem with the Rambam. Let's just get to few questions. First of all, why did the Rambam tell us this halacha here in Hilchos Malveh when he already told us in Erech V'Chara? What's he adding here? Another issue. As we said, the Gemara doesn't seem to say that there's really a real pigeon here. The Rambam seems to assume that it is Hegdish Mafkia Shibu. Now the Rambam himself contradicts himself, as we read. First he says Hegdish, then he says Hegdish Eitzim Lebinyan. And the Maggid Mishnah says, he says what the Rambam says is not, and this is a lotion that you really will find in the Maggid Mishnah. Ein noi nochen. It's not. I don't want to say the words. That doesn't seem proper. Doesn't take away the sheep. Okay, there's another halacha here, which we just learned, that hegdish shava maya dinner shachil shava prutar is a body, right? It doesn't matter if it is hegdish, and if it eat pidyon, it doesn't have to be the value. So he says it in Hilchos Mechira. He says, okay. And then he says it over here. Why does he repeat it also twice? Another thing is that why does he stress dinner, not pruta, as we said? Why did he give this mashal? Not that I'm into these mishalim. And what is he trying to say with this mashal? All right, so I want to. Reb Chaim's has a halacha, which is really, really very nice. With one little caveat, I think we need to tweak it, and then I think we have an approach here. Chaim Kedushin Daf Hey says that the Rambam holds there are two things, two halachas in Hegdish. There's a din Issa Hegdish, which happens when you say, I say that this is Hegdish. And it's chal on it in Hegdish, Hegdish Bedek Abayis, Hegdish Mizbeach. And then there's a Mammon is the Kedin that Hegdish owns the item. So he pitches Hegdish Mafkim Edei Shibu does not mean Momminus. It means you cannot touch it till Hegdish releases it mitzad the Issa Hegdish. But indeed, a Momminus, the Shibud is there. The Hegdish doesn't really own the item. They have a Isser on it. And this is the way it goes. Now, once the paid is paid, then automatically the Shibud, the Momminus takes over. Now, but you need to be paid it. You got to get the Isra off. Oh, that's sad that it can be Hegdish Mafkiya Shibud the way he teaches it. And yet, the reason we need a dinner is Shalai Yaimru, because a Pruta wouldn't do it. You need something to be Mefaris in it. And that answers a lot of the questions. About the Hegdish is Chal. Misad Yisur, that's nothing you can do about it. The Yisur of Chal. All right. Similar word, Yisur Dave Stolenchik says, why the Rambam says in two places about the din of Hegdish Shavamana Shechila Shavruta Chalalas is because in Hilchos Mechira he's talking about the din no. And then no, there's no no. The Hegdish. In Hilchos Erchen, he's talking about Hilchos Isurim, that you can take off the Yisur this way. These are, the bottom line is, it's an approach which makes a lot of sense. The only problem is the word Hegdish Mafkiya Shibud. It's hard to say that. And you still have to understand why the Rambam repeats the Halacha in Hilchos Malveh and Hilchos Erchen, because there's not, I know that he did. I think the key, perhaps, and it's not, I think it can fit with what Reb Chaim says, but again, and these are tweaking. I know my Brisker friends are not going to like that. But the Rambam says a mashal that Hegdish Mafkiya Shibud because, and he gives a mashal with two lekuches. You know, the Gemara says in Pesachim that chometz of a nochri, you have chometz of nochri in your house. You must make a mechitza asara between you and the chometz. So there should be a heck. You're afraid to touch it because the guy's gonna come with us with a stick over your head. But Hegdish, you can leave it there because by Hegdish mivdal bedili in shemineh. And then I'm gonna use a loshen shahakal person and a Hegdish kadesh leivayil name. So perhaps, I mean, I'm giving you an example of that idea. The idea is that Hegdish by nature tells you don't touch, stay away from me. Din advar melim. That's the moshul the Rambam is bringing. That when you're magdish, that becomes Hegdish. That is, it creates a din advar melim. I am not touching that. That's why I won't go there. It's an automatic, I won't go there. So the taka is no realistic shibud now. It's as if I've given a shibud on Hegdish because I don't want to touch Hegdish. I don't want to play with Hegdish. That'll also answer the Ravid's question. There's no Ma'mocharish L'Sheni on that because it's not a mechira, it's a Hegdish. That was what I'm saying, not mechira. It's not, I can't sell that dinadvar mainly imach. I didn't make it. It's just because it's Hegdish, I don't want it. As soon as you get out of the Hegdish, of course I want my shibud. Now, in the case of actual, he says dinadvar mainly imach. So the Ragachev says on the Ravid that the Rama holds that dinadvarim is not a kinyan, it's a siluk. It's beautiful. And the same idea can fit here. Dinadvarim is a siluk. I removed myself from it. Okay, if you say that, now the words hegdish, mafkim, and shibud fits, and that's why the Rambam brings the marshal. So why did he write it in Hilchos Malveh? Because he wants to say, that yes, it affects the din abominus. It's not just an Isser din by itself. Yes, it originates from an Isser, like Reb Chaim says. But it creates a mominus din. Meaning, not only that you cannot collect it because it has an Isser on it, but it causes that I should say, it's a din advar mainly imach. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to touch it. Meaning I have given up my rights to it at this point. I'm giving up my right not to it, to demand it, to control it, to have anything to do with it. And that's why here he writes, not that the Lekeach takes it for them, but the Malchai comes and takes it, and the Isha comes and takes it, because he wants to say that they were removed from it, now they're back in the ball game. They come back in to take it. And therefore the din advara mainly imach gets away. Therefore the din advara, everything comes up. Okay, everybody have a Sei gesund und stark. Hatzlacha Rabba.